Off the Hook, airing on offthehooksports.com, your home for real news, real opinions, and what really matters about Tennessee athletics. The Off the Hook podcast at offthehooksports.com or Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or wherever you go for your favorite podcasts. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, TuneIn, iHeart. Like, share, follow, subscribe. Off the Hook with Dave Hooker starts now.
Well, wherever you are, we are, and now so are the Vols. Welcome to the program as preseason camp has opened. She is Amanda LaFratta. I'm Dave Hooker. We had a bit of a busy day weekend, and we were just what we love to do is provide content for you. Are you okay? You okay?
I have some
Stuff.
Well, I spent like 3 hours weeding my garden this weekend. So
that's a mistake.
Yeah.
So that you can hear Amanda LaFratta's usually beautiful voice, which she'll fight through and give that to you today, then even with the weeding, I want to remind you to subscribe to the good old YouTube channel so we can bring you more comments and like too. And it's so simple because Amanda's put the subscribe button there, which is all stuff that is totally too difficult for me. So she has handled that. So Amanda, I want to get to Josh Heupel's comments here in just a moment, but Tennessee with the media day yesterday, and they had the two coordinators, one coach, and a few players talk to the media. I'll tell you the one thing that I was struck with that I came away from the fact that they had three quarterbacks in Hendon Hooker, Joe Milton, and Taven Jackson. It kind of made me think that maybe they're setting the table for, could this be Tavon Jackson's second string position to win? I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too deep into it. What do you think?
I think that I think maybe they just want to bring them out as a unit, as a team, so that there is no back and forth of, who's doing what, who's going to be the backup, what happens with Hendon, blah blah blah. Just giving confidence in their group for fans. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
I could see that. I've just never been a part of a preseason media day in which they trotted out three quarterbacks. I've never even really, usually if they have a two quarterback race, like a real competition going into camp, which isn't the case here, they won't even bring those two guys out a lot of the times. They'll just bring out their teammates. So
I think that's the point.
Yeah. I guess just when I saw that they were bringing out three quarterbacks, I was a little bit surprised. They did bring out Cedric Tillman, who was not a surprise at all. And, boy, he's lit the YouTube on fire on our channel. Everybody loves hearing some Cedric Tillman.
I love him. He's so cute.
Yeah, he is good. And
cute.
if you like Tillman and you like the potential for Tennessee's wide receivers, I also want to encourage you to check out a Chalk Talk with Chris Landry, in which he says everybody runs 3 and 4 wide receivers now, but Brew McCoy, if he lives up to his billing, can be the best duo of receivers in the nation. So I thought that was pretty strong. There was some bad news to start off the day yesterday as Tennessee met with the media, and that was Lynette Whitehead will miss the 2022 season due to an injury he suffered during the preseason. This is the second year that he has missed a year. He missed his freshman season as well with a preseason injury. 2 in 2 years, you begin to wonder a little bit, Amanda, and I don't mean him, this isn't a personal attack, but some people's bodies aren't cut out for football, and it's a very small minutia of the population that is cut out for that. I think with 2 injuries in 2 years, you start to wonder a little bit.
Yeah, obviously. You have to wonder. I mean, if he's not going to be healthy, that's going to be a problem for fans and for him going forward. Anybody that's injury riddled doesn't really last in the NFL. I mean, they don't last through college, but they definitely don't last through the NFL. I mean, look at RG3. No good. I mean, 3 years gone.
Yeah, and you could even protect a quarterback to some extent. They didn't with him, but you can protect a quarterback. You can't protect a running back. But
No,
even if even if he's just on passing downs, he's in pass protection.
no.
I mean, he's
I
got to
mean,
run
I
the
think,
ball.
yeah, I think we're going to start seeing dual running back teams in college because of the up tempo offense, because running backs do a lot of blocking. I think we're going to start seeing two running backs as a duo instead of just the one power back that we've been seeing for, since football started. I don't think there'll ever be another Heisman running back. I'm going to say that right now. I don't think there'll ever be another running back win the Heisman.
It may be true. Now, let me play devil's advocate, even though I tend to agree with you. Saquon Barkley wasn't that long ago. He was a 3-down type of back. So I think they'll still happen once every 10, 15 years, but I don't think it's going to be the norm. You saw Alabama. I kind of looked at Alabama for trends a lot of the times. You saw Alabama last year try to play 2 and 3 running backs. Now, they had injury issues at the position, so it wasn't like it was supposed to be, but still ultimately that's what Alabama is trying to do. So that's probably what the rest of the nation is eventually going to try to do. And there's some of that going on already. I think that college coaches have seen that from the NFL, that you want 2 good guys as opposed to 1 great guy. Now, 1 generational guy like maybe a Saquon Barkley or, one of those
Derrick
great
Henry.
guys. Derrick Henry would be another great example too.
Yeah.
So a recent example. I was going all the way back to guys like Tony Dorsett, and I realized I aged myself, so I chose not to do so. The guy that is not aging himself is one head coach, Josh Heupel, who visited with the media yesterday, and I want to see if you take away the same thing, and our chat boards are open, so go ahead and share your comments. I want to see if you take away the same thing that I did from this clip when he opened the press conference, as you're listening on Off the Hook Sports.
It's football time in Tennessee, man. Can't wait to get on the grass with our guys tomorrow. Really excited about the strides that our players have made since the beginning of off season. You guys have been around here a bunch through the first quarter of our off-season strength and conditioning, the build up into spring ball, the strides that we made, the newcomers that we got here in January. We've had more of those guys that have shown up here throughout the course of the summer. We've continued to build accountability, connection, a sense of the culture that we want to have inside of the building. At this point, everybody's extremely excited about hitting the ground tomorrow morning and competing extremely hard and growing individually but collectively as a football team. And it's hard to believe that in a month, we're going to be inside of Neyland Stadium Thursday night, kicking off in front of a national television audience and have an opportunity to start this journey here in the 22 season. And really proud of what our staff and players have done up until this point, but really excited about what's going on here in the immediate future here over the next couple of days. And so with that, I'll open it up to some questions here.
Questions. We get a mic to you.
The thing that I take away from that more than anything is I think he is genuinely optimistic. And coaches are usually pessimistic, but I think by nature he is genuinely optimistic. He opens it up with it's football time in Tennessee. I don't read too much into press conferences, but as far as a guy that, the Oklahoma rumors are always going to be out there, he may go back one day. He sounds exceptionally happy. And when I spoke to him for a brief moment in Atlanta, he sounded exceptionally happy to be in Tennessee. This is all honest stuff. I'm not just telling you what you want to hear. But the other thing is, did he not seem like he's on the verge of putting together a really good football team, maybe one that wins 9 games, maybe one that surprises people? He just seemed really optimistic to me. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. Amanda, you tell me.
No, I think he's bought into what Tennessee is. I mean, he's definitely, I think he's genuine. I think he's here for the long haul. I don't know the Oklahoma thing. Who knows with that? I mean, I don't want to say let's go back to Lane Kiffin, but let's go back to Lane Kiffin when everyone thought Lane was all in. And I'm not saying Heupel's the same, because I feel like Heupel is definitely a more genuine person. What stuck out to me is, has he been hitting the weighting room? with like
I
his
wasn't
players?
going to bring that up, but he
I'm
does
just
look a
saying.
he
Look a
does look
little.
like maybe he's a little buffer, but
Maybe he's been taking care of himself a little bit more. And I mean, because he looked a little bit like not big, not fat, but he like his arms look jacked and stuff. And he
yeah,
didn't look that way last season. He did not look that way last season.
it's like looking in a mirror.
All right.
So those comments are brought to you by the Mattress Place, 22 years and Chapman Highway Marine Corps veteran, owned, A+ accredited, member of the Better Business Bureau, over 225 5-star reviews on Google. That's because they're awesome and no gimmicks, just 30 to 70% off today. That is every day. The Mattress Place, just 2 miles from Henley Street on Chapman Highway. So throughout the program today, we'll have comments from Tennessee's coordinators and more. But that was just a bit of a tease for one Josh Heupel that I thought came out pretty darn excited. All right, it is time for today's tough question. Amanda's a special, and I'm interested to see where she goes. Actually, I guess to set it up, if you don't mind, Amanda, we'll go ahead and hit on the starting lineup because it plays out of that. And the starting lineup is brought to you by the best coffee online. It is right there in Knoxville, but you can order it online via the good old e-commerce. Tell us about Honeybee.
Amazing coffee. The top 3%, I think, beans in the world, veteran owned, local to Knoxville. They just keep growing. So when you're thinking about doing coffee, go for the B and don't go for the bucks.
Oh, look at what she did there.
I tried.
Do the B, not the bucks.
Yes.
I don't want to run anybody down, but with the bucks, I found this red tea that I got addicted to, and my wife within 48 hours found it online and made it herself. So that's beats paying $4 for a 20-ounce glass. So go for the B, not the bucks. Amanda, I want to get to headlines, and it's sad. Bill Russell has passed away. You know, we have all these conversations, Amanda, about who's the best. And I know Bill Russell even predates me, the old guy of the group here. But Bill Russell passing away he was one of the greats. And I would encourage you, I know you're a better book reader than me. I want to give you this one book. It's about a gentleman who just John Feinstein, who you probably heard of. He was a longtime writer. He was on that morning show, but he somehow got in the circle of it was called Lunches with Red Auerbach. I can't remember the name of the book, but I've got it right behind me. But so he got in this circle through high school, and he just talked to Red Auerbach about how he, you know, every Tuesday they had lunch at a Chinese restaurant of all places in Chinatown because it was Red Auerbach's place, and Red Auerbach chose where the other 12 coaches and John Feinstein went. And some of the stories about how he went out and got a Bill Russell, got a Bob Cousy, it wasn't like nowadays where you got to worry about salary caps. It was basically he drove to the house and offered them a big pile of cash. And it is so organic and natural. It's a great read. And I think when we talk about the greatest players of all time, we say LeBron, Jordan, maybe Kobe gets in the conversation. Bill Russell gets forgotten. I mean, he's got a ring for every finger. That's pretty good. Pretty good. I think he gets overlooked as one of the greatest players of all time, quite frankly.
I disagree with the LeBron thing, but continue, yes.
Well, I do too. But that's where the conversation goes, just citing popular conversation. Okay, so that's going to lead us to today's tough question. A couple of things I want to mention real quick. I know there's a bunch of pro wrestling fans out there, and even though I'm not one, I do respect the fact that Ric Flair's, basically kept himself alive, even though he's not a great human being. So he decided to hold his final wrestling competition, and he did that. He had the woo. He did win with the figure 4. Have you ever been put in the figure 4, Amanda?
Do I look like I've been put in the figure 4?
It's awful. It is the most painful thing. Like if somebody ever talks you into going into a figure 4, just make it a hard pass. And so he does hold his final match. I guess I assumed that he'd already held his final match, but he did that over the weekend. And then values of some sports franchises before we get to today's tough question. And I thought the values of sports franchises were pretty interesting. Number one is no great surprise nowadays, but it would have been a great surprise, 20, 30 years ago. $7.64 billion is what the Dallas Cowboys are worth, followed by the Rams at $5.9 million, the Patriots at $5.8 million, the Giants at 5.7, the Niners at 5.1. So you get all the way down to the Steelers, who I think is the best run organization in the NFL. Well, with the exception of what the Patriots have done over the past 15 years, but as a whole, the Steelers I think are the best run organization. They're at 4.2. Do you care to guess who the lowest valued franchise in the NFL is, Amanda? I bet if I gave you the day, you would definitely get it. If I ask you on the spot, you might not get it.
No, I had to look this up one time, and I'm trying to remember. I think the Bills were up there, not at the bottom. They were up there though. The lowest.
The Bills you mean the Bills were up there like they were?
No, they were towards the top. Yeah,
towards the top.
They were supposed to be towards the top. I think the lowest one.
I got the Bills at 29 at 2.9 billion. Things have changed.
Apparently. I think the lowest one I want to say is the Titans.
The Titans for the record are 23, so it's a good guess at 3.2 billion. The lowest, the Cincinnati Bengals at 2.8.
Oh, I should have thought about that. Even though they win more than the Cleveland Browns, but that's fair.
You would have gotten that by the end of the day. That's why I said you would have gotten that by the end of the day. It just makes you wonder how they're going to pay the Burrows and the Chases of the world when those bills come due, because they've got an exciting football team. But I get the feeling that they're more all in than they used to be, but we shall see. Michael says, good morning. Good morning to you, Michael. John says running backs will be few and far between, but they will still win again. I tend to think that. I think that John, running backs, who will still win again? Tennessee will still win again?
No, he's talking about running backs will still win a Heisman. They'll win again in a Heisman race.
Oh,
I don't think they will. I just don't.
Yeah, I'm somewhere in between. I think there'll be that one guy, because the award leans that way unfairly, that'll win in about every 10 years. I don't think you're going to have a situation where it seems like Alabama's running back won it every year for like 18 years. I don't think you're going to see that happen again. But
we only had two.
I don't know. It seemed like they were always in the running. It seemed like every year when I was doing my voting that I was like, okay, I got to look at this Alabama running back really closely.
And Mark Ingram and Derrick Henry.
Yes. John says, but it felt like they were always winning. John says, I think he is genuinely excited to be coaching at Tennessee as well. I agree. Jew Bean guessed the Texans as the lowest rated or valued team. Where are the Texans? Boy, they're actually at 11 at 4.6 billion. So much of this is TV market that it's a little above our heads because we're sports cats. But if you told me that I could have the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are actually valued about this or lower than the Houston Texans, who are you taking? I'm Mr. Dan Rooney the second, baby. I'm taking over.
No, I don't. I mean, I think anybody's taken another team besides the Texans today, but I don't think the Pittsburgh Steelers are ran that well.
You look at the coaches they've had. They've only had like 3 coaches in the past 30 years.
Look at the problems they've had in their locker room. Look at their quarterback.
Well, okay, that's debatable. That's a topic for a different day, as you like to say. But I think they're well ran. I have some jealousy there. I think the owner gets out of the way, whereas my Cowboys, the owner is always in the way. So maybe it's part of that as well. But I would rather have you. But you would rather have the Steelers for the same price than you would rather have the Texans for the same price. I
Yeah.
mean, just think of how much they're paying masseuses alone. Eye roll for those listening and not watching. Amanda, today's tough question is brought to you by our friends at Big Orange Philly. Big Orange Philly, a great place to go right there in downtown Halls. It's on Maynardville Pike. So if you're in North Knoxville, you need to go to Big Orange Philly. It's delicious. Fresh ingredients, casual doesn't mean stale. And they've got karaoke. They're family friendly. They've got billiards. They've got darts. They're family friendly. They're awesome. That is Big Orange Phillies. All right, today's tough question, Amanda, is, and then we're going to post it during the break on the poll and tweet all kinds of good links where you can come back and weigh in. So I'm excited. I'm excited, Michael, who just says today's tough question. I'm excited because I think that today's tough question is through the roof good.
So first of all, did you see this morning breaking news? Deshaun Watson suspended for 6 games.
I meant to make no, I did not see that
Yeah.
he was suspended. I saw where he set. I knew a suspension was coming. He settled with 3 of the final 4. I saw very early this morning when I was up way early. I saw that he had settled with 3 of the 4. So he has now settled 6 games. When all said and done, isn't that lower than what everybody thought and predicted?
Well, I don't see, I mean, it broke 45 minutes ago. I don't see how, this is also another topic for another day. I don't see how he gets suspended when no one could find any wrongdoing in his actions. I don't understand that. However, here we are.
Well, the NFL won, the NFL commissioner won that in the latest CBA. Whether it's right or wrong is certainly up for debate because he wasn't charged ultimately with a crime. You're right. So suspended for 6 games. I think all in all with the guaranteed contract that Deshaun Watson got out of pretty good, considering how deep it was there for a while. But he is settled now with all but one of the original 24 accusers. So there we go. So I imagine he's not going to be on today's tough question list coming up, right?
He is not. So today's tough question is, who is the most influential athlete in their sport of all time?
Okay. This is I was thinking about this after you mentioned it early this morning because we do our first show prep meeting at 5 a.m. Our second show prep meeting is at 7. So I had time between 5 and 7 to think about that. So that's right. Preparation is the key to the game. Trust the process. All right. So Amanda, who are your selections? Because there's one that needs to be in there. I'm afraid you're going to leave out, and it'll hurt my feelings.
Okay, that's fine. Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods, Jackie Robinson, or Dale Earnhardt.
Okay, so you're talking about senior, of course.
Yeah, it's not junior. Nobody thinks junior is worth anything.
Ouch. The one thing I would say about senior is that there were always 2 races. There was the race for the lead, and then there was keep your eye on senior because he could do something very entertaining. So I think you're totally onto something there. If there was a Dale Earnhardt Sr. right now, I don't think NASCAR would have been hit with some of the bad television ratings they've gotten over the past few years. Now, I realize he would have been like 70 years old. I'm talking about another type of Dale Earnhardt Sr. person. I'm not talking about the same dude still driving around.
He'd still be in there, I think.
Yeah. Okay. I find he might still be. Yeah. With no chin guard on his helmet still to this day. So Jackie Robinson instead of Babe Ruth?
I mean, this is more of, I think it's who is the most influential, not who is the greatest. It's the most influential. So who brought their sport to life? Like who made it, the most relevant, who is the best to watch, who, things of that nature. On and off the field, the court, the whatever you want to say, the track.
So he would have cleared the way for there to be integration of baseball. So that was obviously huge. What would baseball be now if we had two different leagues, one white league and one African-American league? That would be just bizarre and stupid. So, okay, so that is a major impact. Now, what give me the other ones would be Jordan. Okay.
And the last one was Tiger Woods.
And Tiger Woods. I'm missing a fourth one.
We did Dale Earnhardt, Jackie Robinson, Tiger Woods, and Michael Jordan.
Oh, I gotcha. Okay. Tiger Woods, same reason for Jackie Robinson, except Tiger Woods was a better golfer than Jackie Robinson was a baseball player. Jackie was very good, but Tiger Woods is one of the two greatest ever. So, yes, he also integrated the sport. If you give me those four, because Tony Hawk isn't on it, I'm kidding. Amanda thinks I have a man crush on Tony Hawk. If you give me those four, say them one more time. Let me rethink. Jackie Robinson, Dale Earnhardt Sr., Jordan, or Tiger. I'm going Tiger. I personally don't play golf, which I always wish I would have, because I think it's a great way to meet people. I think it's a great way to go ahead and be able to do business deals and do that sort of thing. But I don't play golf, and I follow golf because of Tiger Woods, which I wouldn't have otherwise.
I mean, he really resurrected this sport. I mean, he really did.
Not even really resurrected, like turned it from a house into some sort of huge community living place. I mean, it was fine kind of where it was. It was just that afterthought. By the way, congratulations to you, Amanda. Vol Streak says on our Twitter feed that you're hot. So that hotness will tease us through the break, 2 minutes, and then back to, did you not?
So awkward.
What she said,
the hotness will tease us through the break. And thank you, Vols State.
Right. So back in 2 minutes. Off the Hook Sports coming up next. Tim Banks will share his thoughts on Tennessee's defense. His preseason camp is underway. Off the Hook Sports.
Gary Viles here. I want to personally invite you to North Knoxville's newest sports bar and restaurant. It's Big Orange Phillies, located in Black Oak Center. And yes, folks, it's happening in Halls. Big Orange Phillies offers family-friendly environment with homemade meals and the best deli-style subs around. Billiards, darts, jukebox, shuffleboard, and cornhole, and a full bar. We also offer valet parking on weekends and during special events. We even have a covered back patio. It's happening at Big Orange Phillies. We want, we need, and we appreciate your business.
Hi, Mike Davis here with City Heating and Air, reminding you to always dare to compare. Our team provides quality local heating and air service, installation, and maintenance across East Tennessee. We use only the best equipment like American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning for your residential, new construction, or commercial needs. Honesty, dependability, and customer satisfaction have been the cornerstones of our business since 1961. City Heat and Air.
Dare to compare.
This is Al's Dish Barbecue Supply, so come on in and see all the different rubs and sauces we have, plus a complete line of Green Mountain grills. Don't be overwhelmed. We have plenty of help so you can produce the best barbecue and amaze your family and friends. Barbecue is America's food. We'll do what we can to bring you all the best products. We're Al's Nest Barbecue, where Chattanooga goes to grill.
Do you want to own the more that owns every job? Then get to Vassey Lawn and Garden in Cleveland and get you a Toro. I'm David Vassey, here to talk to you about Toro. With a Toro Zero Turn, you'll get more out of every minute and you'll reach the finish line faster. At Vassey's, we like to say, no matter if you're mowing 3 acres a week or 11 lawns a day, homeowners and business owners alike find confidence in equipment they can trust from top to bottom.
Vassey Lawn and Garden, Highway 60 North in Cleveland.
Man alive, it's worth the drive.
Remind you to stop what you're doing and please hit that subscribe button. Please hit that like button. We greatly appreciate it so we can bring you more Tennessee content. Also, on our YouTube page that you are watching this right now. At least I think you are. Maybe you're on the Twitter or the Facebook. But if you go to our YouTube page, you can check out interviews with Tennessee football coaches and head coach Josh Heupel. So, Amanda, reset our today's tough question, if you can, please.
Who is the all-time most influential athlete in their sport? And Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods, Jackie Robinson, or Dale Earnhardt Sr.
Okay,
And
so I
Michael
didn't ask you.
Jordan is leading.
Yeah, Michael Jordan's dominating so far. I wouldn't go Jordan just because I thought Bird and Magic did so much before him to elevate the sport. That's just me. So you would. I didn't even ask you who you would go with. Out of the four, who would you go with?
Tiger Woods.
So we're both Tiger Woods. We're agreeing. So we are both with Tiger Woods. And
That's what he did for the sport, I think, is unprecedented, and I don't think it'll ever happen again.
Well, I can't. Can you imagine? If we really look at the state of sports, can we ever see a Jackie Robinson or a Tiger Woods happening again that has so much cultural influence? I hope we can.
I mean, I don't think we're going to see something like that happen again. I don't feel like it's going to need to happen again. I think it's already done. So
Agreed.
Tiger Woods, the thing about Tiger is he brought golf full circle. People started watching golf after Tiger or during Tiger because he was so good and so much fun to watch that now we watch the PGA tournaments over the weekends. There would be no live golf tour if there were no Tiger Woods, which I understand sounds contradictory, but golf wouldn't be that big to need or to want a different outlet. Golf would only be, maybe the PGA wouldn't even be around still if it wasn't, because they were definitely not getting any kind of ratings until Tiger stepped on.
Jason said that I might be in trouble after the teasing Amanda's said hotness through the break. Apologize for that.
This you know what this is called?
When you put one hand on top of the other and you
move
what does
your
that
fingers.
mean? What does that mean?
It's called an awkward turtle.
An awkward turtle?
Yeah.
What it was I wasn't calling you hot. Ball Steak was calling you hot. And let me just go ahead and tell you that when Vol Steak calls you hot, you are sizzling.
No.
Tim Bates.
I apologize to everyone for that horrendous dad joke.
Gold. That's
gold. Not gold. That is not even silver. Like, I apologize to everyone.
Tim Banks comments, Tennessee's defense coordinator, brought to you by City Heating and Air Conditioning. For over 50 years, City Heating and Air Conditioning has provided East Tennesseans with honest, dependable heating and cooling service. That's heating and air conditioning. So here is Tim Banks, Tennessee's defensive coordinator, breaking down the Vols as they enter preseason camp.
What your cornerbacks can do determine what you can do on defense. Do you subscribe to that theory?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of truth to that, particularly based on the kind of scheme that you play. If you're a scheme that, asks your corners to play a lot of man-to-man so you can be able to, load the box, I think traditionally, I think that's a solid statement. We got to figure out, again, who our best corners are. We like to be able to play with at least 3 at the bare minimum. You like to be able to play 4 in a perfect situation. And obviously, once we figure out that position, we continue to see where the best guys are, whether it's star, safety, etc. But, I think that's a strong statement. And, I would definitely echo that.
And secondly, Jeremy Banks has shown up on a lot of all SEC preseason teams. Do you see him having the ability to be an all SEC player?
I do. I mean, he's one of those guys that, loves the game of football. He plays extremely hard. He's very athletic. He's tough. He has all the traits that you look for from a linebacker perspective. I thought really he was just scratching the surface on how good he could be last year. I think he's worked very hard during the spring to try to shore up some things that we identified as liabilities. I think if he continues to work at, the things that we talked about, I think it's no reason why, he shouldn't be one of the better linebackers in this conference, if not in the country.
Coach, I think you guys last season over 100 tackles for loss. How did that success happen, and how do you kind of replicate that this season with maybe some new guys up front?
Yeah, obviously, our philosophy and how we go about our business will never change. We want to be aggressive in everything that we do, whether we're attacking with our 4-man front, bringing a 5th or a 6th defender. What that ends up being in terms of tackle for losses, that's yet to be determined. But we're never going to change our mentality. We want to be extremely aggressive, in our play, coming off the ball, attacking from different angles. And if it ends up, obviously, whatever the stat is that you threw out, that's awesome. But really, we're just trying to, stay to our identity, which we think bodes well for us to be a successful defense and help the team win.
It'll be interesting to see the evolution of this offensive line, Amanda, because as mentioned in that bit with Tennessee defensive coordinator Tim Banks, it's going to be interesting to see what they're able to do as far as continuing to pressure the passer, play the run. And again, we come back down to what are they able to do in the fourth quarter when they may be fatigued because of this offense. That's the thing that I think we ultimately want to keep an eye on.
Yeah, the depth has been an issue for Tennessee, but I feel like they will overcome that this season, if not this season, next season. Just because Heupel's in there, there's a lot of talk about Tennessee this year. As we noticed at SEC Media Days, there was a lot of hype, and I know the hype for Heupel thing, and I'm not going to give that up. I'm not giving that up.
Keep pressing that. Keep pushing.
I'm pushing it. Hype for Heupel. However, I think the hype is genuine. Yes, I think the hype is genuine here. I think there's a lot of stuff happening that's good for Tennessee. And what they lacked, as far as I can tell, is not even just depth, it's leadership. And I think they've put some people in that role that have taken to that. And I think they're going to be much better this season.
So Tennessee was second in the SEC in tackles for loss last year. I think that gets lost on a lot of people because Tennessee was just behind Alabama. Now, if you want to look at sacks and you want that to be the barometer, well, then you're not going to be as happy with Tennessee because they were 8th in the SEC, about 2.5 sacks per game. But still, you look at either one of those stats, and this is a defense with Banks and Byron Young, who Amanda wrote about that you can check out on offthehooksports.com. Amanda, when you look at this defensive front, I know there's concerns about the secondary. There's concerns about being able to stop people with an up-tempo offense on the other side of the ball. But the defensive front, just in and of itself, ain't bad. Ain't bad. As a matter of fact, is probably above average.
No, they're not bad. I don't think that they're considered bad. I think when you lump the entire defense together, that's when you have an issue. Which happens typically all the time. So it's the same thing as if your offensive line is good, but your quarterback's not great. You're not going to look like a great offense, even if you can protect the quarterback, because he's not great. So it's not like you have to have one unit that meshes together, that does well. Even if your defensive line is great and your corners and your safeties are garbage. I'm not saying they are, but I'm saying if that's the case, then it's still going to look bad. You're still going to look like a bad defense.
So we remind you to subscribe and to certainly like this page as we can bring you more Tennessee content on a day-to-day basis, which leads me to this. Amanda, that is this. What is your biggest concern on Tennessee's football team from an X's and O's standpoint moving forward, or even a philosophical standpoint moving forward? I will share mine with you first, and that is that this team doesn't develop the 4-minute offense, which I know I've harped on, to be able to take some pressure off the offense. If they don't take that next step this year or next year at some point, then they're going to be a 7-8 win team under Josh Heupel until he goes elsewhere. That would be my biggest must-do, biggest concern heading into the 2022 season.
Mine is the secondary. I don't think it's just Tennessee either. I think the secondaries, it's hard. It's hard for any secondary to keep up with the type of offense that college football is adapted to. Tennessee's they're right in there with everybody else with the secondary. It's a difficult situation. I mean, even teams like Alabama have problems keeping up with this fast tempo offense in the secondary.
Do you have any optimism looking at Andre Turrentine, who came from Ohio State, had played Wesley Walker, who came from Georgia Tech? Does that give you any reason for optimism, or are you in wait-and-see mode?
I think you're in wait-and-see mode. I know I wrote about Andre, and he played 4 games at Ohio State, but 3 of those were on special teams. And I know he's just a freshman. But you have to wait and see, because these guys have to develop. They're not going to come out. You very rarely get just all-star cornerbacks starting as freshmen or all-star safeties starting as freshmen. They have to learn the game. They have to practice with the team. It's a very, tight-knit kind of group that you have to be a part of in order for it to run smoothly. So it's a wait and see issue with me.
For those on board, if you want to share your comments or your biggest concerns of the upcoming season, feel free to do so. Jason says short yardage offense when you have to get 1 yard to win the game. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a real concern. And I think that comes back. I think Jason and I are saying the same thing in a different sort of way, and that is being able to run the ball creates a 4-minute offense. Amanda's making fun of my hand gestures if you're watching. So I think that I think running the football makes you an offense that can run the 4-minute drill and hold on to the ball. So Jason, I think, is saying the short yardage offense when you have to get 1 yard to win the game. So biggest concern heading into the 2022 season, Amanda LaFratta goes with the secondary, and I will go with the ability to develop a 4-minute offense. With that secondary, you mentioned Turrentine, and I hit on Walker. The influx of guys would make me think, along with the freshmen, that at least one, is going to be a guy who steps in and is ready to play and is ready to go right away. But there's no guarantee of that. If Tennessee doesn't get that, then Amanda, it could be a longer season than Tennessee fans have planned for sure.
Well, like I said, every team is struggling secondary wise because of the type of offense that we're running. You have to get players in there that mesh well with each other, that as a team can cover what they need to cover. And I don't think it's just a one person type thing. Just one person gets in there and everything's great. I think that you have to have a team that meshes well and that can cover each other, or you're just going to be out there. You could have the most talented person, and if it's busted coverage, you're done.
Vol Steak with another sizzling hot topic take, I should say. He says that Tennessee will finish second in the SEC East. G. Smith says it has to be running back Whitehead out for the season. He is. We talked about that earlier. Did hear good stuff about Jamari Small yesterday. And coaches are very hesitant to praise players early, but said that Jamari Small looked like he was a different player. Athletically, looked like he was an every down back instead of a third down back. So that was arguably huge. So that question brought to you by our friends at Craft Treats, full spectrum CBD treats. So it contains minor cannabinoids that increase the benefits of CBD, great for situational anxiety, things like storm anxiety, car ride anxiety. They have it all. That is Craft Treats. Go to crafttreats.com TennesseeAthletic.com to learn more. And boy, my dog, I broke into the craft trees yesterday. We had a storm. I sent you the picture of my dog who was sad. And yes, Ball Steak, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, or you're watching us on YouTube, but we're everywhere. So my dog needed the craft treats. So I didn't know there was a storm. I was so busy working, and I didn't even hear the thunder outside until I realized that my dog had to be in my lap at that very moment. Laptop or not, get the laptop out of the way. Not that I have issues with laptops, but he said, more reporting Dr. Pepper in one at SEC Media Days. I love you, Amanda. I'm sorry. So my dog's like in my lap. I'm like, what's the deal, man? Why are you so lonely? And it was the thunder. I didn't hear it because I had my headphones on, but it was thunder. And when I saw the picture I sent you, he was shaking so hard that the entire couch was shaking. So I got the craft treats, and it was all good. How about that?
I mean, I reach for the craft treats whenever Ava gets scared at stuff. And I mean, it mellows her out. It's the craziest thing because and she will eat them. She likes them. She doesn't like the other CBD treats I bought her. She just like turns her little nose up at it. But I mean, she's not a princess or anything. I mean,
yeah, and it's a little dog, but it has a huge nose. Huge
she does not have a huge nose.
Alex Golish coming up next. Coverage of Tennessee continues back in 2 minutes with me, Dave Hooker, Amanda LaFratta, and her large-nosed dog, Ava.
It's Gary Viles here, Viles Automotive on Callahan Drive. I've been selling cars here in East Tennessee for 27 years. In that time, I've come to realize it's not about the car. It's about you, the customer. So I'm here to take care of you just like family. Good credit, bad credit, you name it, we can get you taken care of. If we don't have it, we can find it for you. We go across the country to get any vehicle that you want. And here at Viles Automotive, we don't believe in fake numbers. We just give you great deals. And as always, we want, we need, and we appreciate your business.
Do you want to own the more that owns every job? Then get to Vassy Lawn and Garden in Cleveland and get you a Toro. I'm David Vassy, here to talk to you about Toro. With a Toro Zero Turn, you'll get more out of every minute and you'll reach the finish line faster. At Vassy's, we like to say, no matter if you're mowing 3 acres a week or 11 lawns a day, homeowners and business owners alike find confidence in equipment they can trust from top to bottom.
Vassy Lawn and Garden, Highway 60 North in Cleveland.
Man alive, it's worth the drive.
This is Steve Rain. I own the Midnight Oil and Michelin Tire Direct service station here in Ooltewah. It's not a fancy place, never has been, but it's a clean place with clean restrooms and good folks who work here. We sell gas and fix cars, nothing glamorous, but we love what we do, and we're going to keep doing it for a long time to come. There's not many real service stations left, and that's a shame. We're the guys just like the guys back in your hometown. We'll fix your tire, change your oil, and put a new set of Michelins on your car. If you want a Twinkie, you'll just have to keep on going. Thanks for the business.
Hi, Mike Davis here with City Heating and Air, reminding you to always dare to compare. Our team provides quality local heating and air service, installation, and maintenance across East Tennessee. We use only the best equipment like American Standard heating and air conditioning for your residential, new construction, or commercial needs. Honesty, dependability, and customer satisfaction have been the cornerstones of our business since 1961. City Heat and Air.
Dare to compare.
Yes, you should dare to compare. And there is Amanda with her large-nosed dog, Ava.
She is not. She is adorably cute. And she does not have a big nose. She's a tiny nose.
She's fairly
so
cute.
Sweet.
She's fairly cute. Today's tough question, brought to you by our friends at Zool Beer Company, which I'll tell you more about, is it's highly debated. I think that Amanda put together a pretty darn good question here. So what is the all-time most influential athlete in their sport? So we have Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods, Jackie Robinson, Dale Earnhardt Sr. So right now, Tiger Woods, who was in third place to start, leads. Probably a little bit of recency bias. Michael Jordan is second at 28.2%. Jackie Robinson, 23.3%. Dale Earnhardt Sr., though, I will be honest with you, I thought that Dale Earnhardt Sr. was going to get totally blown away, but you nailed it. Dale, I did. I'm just telling you what I thought. I'm not saying I was right.
Look, I'm a race girl.
Wait, let me see where your shirt is. I don't see your shirt.
It's race girl.
Oh, race girl. Yeah, you are a race girl.
I like NASCAR. I'm not going to lie. I like NASCAR. So
yeah, if you're in Amanda's car, boy, it's on that NASCAR channel all the time. So Vol Steak asking, it is.
No, it's just good radio.
Yeah, I think I would argue that about Claire. But anyway,
I've listened to multiple sports shows and all this other stuff, and it's just the NASCAR. I'm not saying this sports show because I'm on it, but the NASCAR radio. It's good radio. It's great. I love it.
It moves. I've had enough of Claire in my life. Vol Steak saying, ain't it great to feel optimistic about our head coach? Josh Heupel has Tennessee headed in the right way. I feel great about it. And I want to get to, speaking of, Alex Golesh, who is Tennessee's offensive coordinator, and his comments are brought to you by Zool Beer Company, talking about the quarterbacks. And Amanda, your thoughts on Tennessee's quarterbacks, but more importantly, tell us about Zool Beer Company, all the good stuff. You got the major festival that's just around the pike, right?
Yes, it is the Kill the Lights Festival, and it is on Tennessee's homecoming game that weekend. But there's over 50 breweries coming. I mean, they're going to have to shut down the streets because it's going to be insane. Everybody's excited. You know, Zool won a gold medal in the World Beer Cup for Rhymes Like Dimes, which is an IPA at Zool. But it's going to be nuts. Like, I'm excited about being there for it, but I'm also a little nervous because there's going to be so many people. But I know tickets are on sale right now. So,
all right, good deal. Here's Alex Golesh talking about Tennessee's quarterbacks and how they've established, in particular, Hooker and Milton, a more of a leadership role.
Hennon and Joe have done a really good job of taking ownership in it, not feeling like they're stepping on each other's toes. I give those two a lot of credit. That's more than I could do at 22 years old, and somebody's in front of me. I'd have a hard time being a good soldier there. But credit to those guys, credit to Joey Halsley and how he's managed that room, and Coach Hype's leadership and pushing that on those guys, what a quarterback is supposed to do, what he's supposed to look like, act like, what the day-to-day looks like. They're still young guys. They still screw things up. And but they have those guys leading has been really, really good. Cedric stepping up in a leadership role, which is way outside his comfort zone. That's not who he is, and us putting pressure on him to do so has been monumental there. Jalen Hyatt has developed into a leader in that group. Because of the way he's worked, he's earned the right to do that. So it's been really, really fun. But, give Jerome Carvin a lot of credit. Like, he's taken a ton of ownership for us. I think a year ago he was kind of looking around like, what the heck is going on? He's taken a bunch of ownership in the entire thing too. So, but their relationship is unique. Like I said, give those guys a lot of credit. I couldn't do that. I think most of us grown-ups got egos that couldn't handle it.
Last question, really quickly.
Coach, in the NFL, the left tackle is valued more than the right tackle because they're protecting the blind side. In an up-tempo offense, is the left tackle any more important than the right tackle?
Yeah, I'm not sure what the tempo would really have to do with it. It is the blind side for the quarterback. We can control who's got help and who doesn't in terms of schematically. But I'm not sure if the tempo really has anything to do with the blind side. And I'm not being facetious in the answer. Just that is the blind side for a right-handed quarterback. But the scheme more so dictates it than the tempo in that world.
Tennessee's coaches are so nice. It's so odd and refreshing. Because he genuinely didn't want to insult the reporter that asked that question. He wanted to say, hey, that's a fine question, but it doesn't really affect it. Used to be John Chavis would have said, no, why would you do that? And then the question's over.
That's one of those things, though, that if you are, if you've been doing like reporting, if you've been in the game for as long as the person who asked the question, I'm not going to call him out, you should know that answer. Like, why are you asking that question? That doesn't, like, this is a dumb question. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm just saying that was a stupid question.
Well,
the type of offense has it doesn't matter. Blindside is blindside.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I see the point a little bit. We had a couple of comments, and feel free to leave your comment. And we said, are y'all based out of Chattanooga? Well, kind of, sort of. Based out of Chattanooga. I still live in Chattanooga, but I'm in Knoxville all the time, and I'm moving there in short form and fashion. But he did bring up one note. Coming from Knoxville, it's frustrating to see more UGA and Bama swag than Big Orange. Amen to that. I mean, that is... Chattanooga is a factor, and Amanda and I can agree on this. I know we can because I know her well enough. It's the bandwagon fans in these middle markets, and I bet the Tri-Cities when Virginia Tech was good was the same way. Maybe not to the same extent, but yes, you have a lot of Georgia fans and Alabama fans in Chattanooga. But ultimately, who do you want to point the finger at? Don't point at those fans. Point at Tennessee for not being a better football program. It's one thing to not win as many championships as Alabama. They had a once in a life, just forever history type of coach. I get that. And then Kirby Smart.
You had two of them. Alabama's had two.
Yeah, I guess I'm kind of talking modern era. But anyway, two. So if you this latest erosion of Tennessee fans wouldn't have happened. Jason saying he was in the Tri-Cities when Virginia Tech was good and it was solid orange at the time. Well, I guess I was wrong.
Well, Virginia Tech is also orange, so
they're kind of like they're a little orange.
Got a little orange in there.
Yeah, the beak. No, but I think that Tennessee has to win the Chattanoogas of the world back. I think they have to win the Memphises of the world back. So
I think bandwagon fans, I can't stand them. I could do a whole show on how I just despise bandwagon fans. If you can't tell me who the head coach of whatever team it is, who the head coaches were before the current one, I don't want anything to do with you. I don't want anything to do with you. Can't stand it.
Chris Landry and I had a good laugh over that Mike Shula reference. Pedigo Chattanooga, locally owned store where you will be treated like family. As the region's foremost electric bike experts, they put their hearts into helping you find the perfect electric bike and get the most out of it for many years to come. That's Pedigo Electric Bikes. Pedigo Chattanooga is quality over just getting something that you're going to have worked on several times. So Amanda, do we want to do message board bingo? Are we prepared for that? Are we excited for that? Is that something we're doing today, or are we doing other stuff? You tell me, because message board bingo never ever gets old.
I do love message board bingo. I'm waiting on the intro because
so we have
music.
We have to have the funky music. Okay, hold on. I do love message board bingo, so let me find the funky music because it is super funky. So I'm gonna go with chill hop. Oh yeah, this is worse than what I found yesterday.
How about horrific?
We need something. I mean, who sits around?
We don't need this. I'm telling you right now, we do not need this.
Okay, future pop.
I don't feel like that's future.
It sounds very 70s, doesn't it?
It does.
Downtown. It seems like everything has this sort of adult film feel to it, and I can't explain that.
Yeah, if we can.
How about hip hop?
That's.
Oh yeah.
That's the.
Okay.
I wouldn't. Oh yeah, that's the best. So
far. The best, relatively speaking. It's like the ugliest supermodel. Okay. All right. So, and flipped it. All right. So what do we got?
right,
Jason. Okay. So message board bingo. Here we go. I have 3 chances to tell you who this fan base is to become a winner at message board bingo.
No, you don't have 3 chances. You get 3 quotes, and you have to decide who they come from.
Right. I set my bar low. If I get 1 out of 3, I'm happy with that.
All right. Well, you should. Our class is falling apart, and loss of momentum can directly be correlated to USC bailing on the Pac-12 when they did. I sincerely hope their team plane flies into a mountain.
Youch. I was a little strong.
It was a little strong.
Can you give me a conference so I can get? I'm gonna go. I know. I'm gonna guess that it's Oregon.
Oh, you got it right.
Did I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Did you go on and read?
No, I did. I swear to you. I'm nothing if not honest, and I purposefully, when you send me those, I scroll right by them. I go Oregon. All right, 1-0. I'm feeling good about myself. Hello, Monday.
All right. So I'm going to read this, and it's going to sound like I'm saying the wrong word because I am, but I'm reading it. Okay.
Okay.
Look for Saban to loose 3 games. He's going to lose them.
He's going to lose them.
Lose them. Bama is due for an injury-riddled season. You actually spelled this right. Losses. LSU, A&M, Ole Miss.
That's Auburn saying that because they have not mastered the English language.
Nope. That would be Texas A&M.
I felt so good about being 2-0 there. Oh, I thought for sure I was 2-0. All right. Number 3 to finish with a winning record in message board bingo, brought to you by Owl's Nest Barbecue.
All right. So this is from a fan base.
It both scares me and excites me when you find one that makes you smile. It scares me. It scares me because it's extra hard, and it excites me because it's going to be really funny. But go ahead.
It's not extra hard. It's just okay. I'm more concerned for our older fan base without a smartphone. Before I thought printing tickets was the fix. Now that doesn't appear to be the case. And a response. I've got the smartphone. For me, that's just what it is. A phone, all caps. Not a device for transacting business. Don't know how to use it that way anyhow. It is a fairly good telephone though.
I think that's Tennessee because they announced that they didn't have hard tickets anymore over the weekend. So I was 2-1. I may never be 2-1, especially with an Oregon Hail Mary.
That Oregon one, I mean that, yeah. You're like, give me the conference, and it said Pac-12 in the statement.
In the copy. Okay.
Yeah, well, good for you. 2-1.
I feel good about that. And we can get rid of the hip hop music. Message board bingo brought to you by Owl's Nest Barbecue. When it comes to smoking food, when it comes to slow cooking, Owl's Nest Barbecue has the pellets, the chips. They've got the grills. The Green Mountain grills are absolutely phenomenal. I mean, they will change the way you grill, and that's all right there. at Owl's Nest Barbecue. They got the rubs and sauces as well. Owl's Nest Barbecue is right next to Steve Ray's Midnight Oil. At Steve Ray's Midnight Oil, they work on my car. They can work on yours. South Carolina fans gave me the most evil stare, according to Vols Steak. Yeah, South Carolina fans, like, they have this weird, like, once you cross this line, like, they are super happy and fun and go Cox and cocky, and they use the word Cox a lot because they think it's funny, and it's everywhere. And
funny.
Yeah, well, it is kind of funny, but they say all that. I mean, it is for the first 112 times you hear it.
Still funny,
Okay,
even when you heard it.
Yeah, even when you heard it. So, but you can cross a line to say, okay, you all are a fun, neat fan base, but in reality, there is a glass ceiling for what you can ever be. You can ever be in the East of Tennessee, Georgia, or Florida. It can't happen.
It's going to take a lot of time and a coach that's willing to stay there for a hot minute. I mean, it's gonna be, you have to become more than just a stepping stone into the next job, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, and there's a guy there who loves to fly the Confederate flag. That's one of their boosters over his barbecue joint. That doesn't help recruiting, and they need some boosters that are going to step up and provide big time cash. I don't know if that Confederate flag was still flying, but it was as late as like 2009, which was bizarre. Danny said, I watched Jason Witten play in high school. I watched him play in college. He is very, very good, but I still recall
playing college.
Yeah.
Well, didn't every Tennessee fan? I mean, my goodness.
I was just playing and in the pros. So I will say this about Jason Witten. Still, my favorite all-time story is when they moved him from defensive end to tight end, and they swore to his grandfather, who had a big part in raising him, was his coach, they would never, ever do that. And they did it the second day in camp, and they moved him for defense. And I waited an hour, no other players to interview, because he was meeting with all the coaches, and you could just flag down players after they left. And he was almost in tears about being moved to tight end. And now he is going to be a Hall of Fame tight end. It is just,
oh yeah.
And every time I see him, I said, "Do you remember that conversation?" He goes, "Yeah." And he's told me since, he goes, "I about left." He about walked off of Tennessee's campus, got in his car, drove back to the Tri-Cities, and probably would have been a star defensive end for the ETSU Bucks.
Could you imagine if the transfer portal was a thing back then?
He would have been gone that day.
He would have pieced out. But he stuck with it, and now he's going to be a Hall of Famer.
Yep. Well, it's about integrity. He told Tennessee that he was going to come to Tennessee, and he did that. Now, integrity is what Vols Automotive Group is all built upon right there on Callahan Drive. Vols Automotive Group. That's called a Segway. It's not just a little bike anymore. Vols Automotive Group has fantastic selection, and they've got auto financing, and they keep you going with a great service department. So right there in the heart of North Knoxville at Callahan, they can check you out if you got any car issues, or they can talk about what car you may need. So yes, Vols Automotive Group is the place to be. So Tennessee was pretty sharing, I thought, about compared to other coaching staffs I've covered. They want to have a good feel for their offensive line in place by the end of next week. I've never heard coaches put a time frame on that, but they do want to have an idea. So the question is, Darnell Wright, who played a lot at right tackle 2 years ago, started exclusively at left tackle last year. So that was the question Alex Golish was asked about the blind side, and does tempo affect anything? And it really doesn't. But I think what the reporter there was trying to beat around the bush on a little bit was that, can you move Darnell Wright if you've got another guy who has only played left tackle, and his footwork is trained to do that. It's a complete 180-degree difference, Amanda, from playing left and right as far as footwork. So could Darnell Wright be the best tackle on Tennessee's team? Yes, but he also could be the more versatile. So if one of these incoming guys come in and they can play left tackle like that, you don't have to teach them right tackle, you could slide Darnell tackle. So I think that's kind of what the question was about.
I'm sure it's just, I feel like it was phrased incorrectly then. I feel like you should have more, instead of being more broad, just target what you're trying to say instead of, coming in there with, how do you feel about the weather? Clearly.
That's fair.
That's how fair. I feel.
Be sure and tune in from day to day, Vol Guy, Danny, and all of you, because we'll be here at 9 each and every day. And we want to start giving away some good stuff. And we want to start giving away T-shirts, which I think you will like. And we're going to – Amanda has worn them before for our regular listeners, but we're going to start giving those away tomorrow. Inky, I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name, said Squirrel White is going to be a star here. I picked that comment out because I think you are 120% correct. I think he's going to be very good. Again, coaches never, howdy Wood Duck, coaches never call out a freshman. They did so with Squirrel White yesterday. I think that tells you.
Squirrel. His name is Squirrel. Like,
true.
I mean, you have to bring that up. True. If the name is Squirrel, he's got, I'm sure it's a nickname. I'm sure his name's not really Squirrel. But if his name is Squirrel, you have to bring that into the conversation just because you want to say, how's Squirrel White doing? You just want to.
How's the squirrel?
And have you seen Tennessee's pet squirrel? It's not Tennessee's, but it's a pet squirrel from a Tennessee fan. He rescued it. If you haven't checked that out, you need to check it out. It is the cutest thing ever. He wears a little Tennessee shirt and everything. It's great.
A squirrel wears the Tennessee shirt.
Yes. Go check it out. And for those of you who are posting questions and stuff, we can get to those tomorrow because I know our show's almost over today. But go check those out, like the Tennessee squirrel. I'm not kidding. I would like to have him as a guest.
Coming up this week, it'll be the Tennessee Squirrel. More comments from the Vols.
He's highly sought after. So don't make promises.
It's a squirrel trying to get a nut. Brought to you by Vassy Lawn and Garden Center. Vassy Lawn and Garden in Cleveland, open 6 days a week year-round. They had the EETC certified technicians and state-of-the-art service facilities with parts and service for over 28 brands. Toro, count on it. A couple of other comments quickly in case we don't have time to get to them tomorrow. Jason says, true or false, 2022 season O-line will be the best we've had since Fulmer was running the show. I think we had the best offensive line depth in 10 years. I'll go with the latter right now, Jason. Give me some time on the front end. I think the depth's good, but I want to see the offensive line as a starting unit be as good as when Fulmer was running the show. And Danny said his brother, talking about Jason Witten, took our high school to a state championship. That is a very successful family who, in case you don't know, has overcome a lot. Have a fantastic day, everyone. We'll talk to you at 9 a.m. tomorrow. We love the comments, and we're going to have stuffs to give away. G. Smith saying the light humor is gold on this show.
Oh.
G. Smith, that makes me beyond happy. So that makes me want to tell a quick joke. Can I tell a quick joke?
No. This is what happens, G. Smith, when you encourage this behavior.
Inky, G. Smith, tell me, quick joke. Quick joke. I told you this before. I told you this joke before. You probably won't remember it. So a moth goes into a podiatrist's office.
No. That one is way too long. That is way too long. It took you 5 minutes to tell me that joke. No.
Will you let me tell it tomorrow, please?
If we have time.
Leaning towards yes. Off the Hook
That's up to you.